G'day everybody, where's Wally here. Hey, Jeran in his weekly show this week took a rather lot of a beating from the people in the chat. How could that be, you ask? Doesn't he have all the Globers blocked and banned? Yes indeed is what I would respond, and the pounding that he was copping was coming from his loyal followers. They almost all seem to be a little unsettled by Jeran taking the offer to go to Antarctica just more than a little seriously. So here is a couple of excerpts from that show, and I left the chat in it as well because Jeran is interacting with it quite frequently, and you can kind of see why. Enjoy this. This is getting really fun.
Does that give me a little doubt because I'm like, well, then isn't that something they would fake? Absolutely, 100%. But I think, and I'm just trusting myself here, and actually, I would trust anybody to go down there. So anyone, again, within reason, let's give me a flat earther that I at least know a little bit. And if they were the ones to go down there, I'm hoping that my whole goal would be get me as much footage as you can so that I can review the footage. So it doesn't have to be me. But what I don't trust is Robert Schwartzman or, these guys at the Scott Station that have this one film that's put out after Flat Earth came out. I don't trust those things. But if we had somebody we trusted who went down there and confirmed, I was down there for 3 days, and I would trust that they couldn't get fooled. If you think that somebody who's going down for the one reason of looking at the sun could be fooled by some trickery that would actually move the sun behind you in the south, and you would never see the sun that was there set, somehow it merged together in real time, I don't think you're even thinking. You're not even thinking. That's not possible. We've never seen that done ever. They've never been able to introduce a fake sun at the same time the real sun fades out or goes into some weird morphing technology. What are we talking about? Let's force them to do that. And then guess what? We would have gone down there on Duffy's dime, and you guys get footage that you guys get to assess. What is better than that? Yet everybody's got a problem. Everybody, so much so that we'll get into the next comment here in a second, or the next video here in a second, where now people are doing so-called research on Duffy and other such people and are completely shitting the bed. Completely shitting the bed. Okay? So, one more time, the problem with the flat earth and a 24-hour sun is we think the sun does this. We've all thought this. We've all said this for 10 years. And all of a sudden, somebody says, well, let's go down and see if it does what the globe says, which is go around us, and everybody flips out. And everybody loses their mind and says, oh, this is a trick. It's a psyop. It's this. It could be, but so let's get over it. Let's just go through it. What's the big deal? Why not go down there and check it out? And if it's not me, I don't care. In fact, at this point, I wish it wasn't me. I hope somebody else gets the nomination. Because I certainly am not excited to go on a trip that everybody says I'm going to die on, or that everyone says I'm going to be psyoped on or unalived, or who in the hell wants to do that? There's like no positive thoughts at all towards it. Everybody would be negative thoughts. Jeran's a shill. He's going to do another Behind the Curve. It's going to be a documentary. It's a hit piece against us. They're going to fail. They're liars. They've been compromised. Who wants to fucking do that? But that's what the kind of output that we've had. That's the kind of response that people have gotten. So anyway, again, we know that the sun doesn't go around the person in Australia like this. We know it doesn't go around the person in South America like this. We know that it doesn't go around this. And if it does do this, we've got an issue on the flat earth. And if you can't admit that, I just don't think you're in it for the truth anymore. How could you continue believing something that's literally impossible? And again, if I'm wrong, then somebody will come forward and say, Jeran, this is why you're wrong. So far, we've had Lindsay say that the North is the South and that the South pops out and the North goes up and down, but nobody can grasp it. So that's why he's coming back next Thursday. Get us a little closer. You've got the jackoffs over there at the Jason and Ronnie show. By the way, if Duffy's watching this, Duffy, props to you for sitting through that. I don't know what's wrong with you. I would have been gone in 2 minutes, and I think anybody would have been gone in 2 minutes. You do not have to deal with people like that. That was the worst thing I've ever seen anybody do. I cannot believe you put yourself through that. Just saying. So these guys Ronnie and Jason have this model that they call their own. They stole this model. It is a globe Earth model. They think because the ground is flat here that it means that it's a flat Earth model. But this is all directly taken from the globe. This is what Moon Calc and Sun Calc use and what Stellarium uses. And these guys want to say, oh, we have a model that calls for the sun to go around them. And you're using the globe. Hello, McFly. And they just change it to, oh, it's a a simulation, or maybe that's not what they call it, a virtual reality, because they say the sun rises and sets in the ground. They're talking about this, the sun going, oops, that's not, there we go. So when the sun sets, they say that the sun goes into the ground, and that means it's a simulation. Anyway, it's funny. But they had Duffy on, and they were just grilling him on, I mean, it was just the worst thing I've ever seen. I just wouldn't have stayed there if I was him. People have treated that guy like shit. And again, does he have a funny smirk on his face? Has he been caught lying? Is he a little quirky? Is he tons of reasons that I understand that. But to go to the lengths that some have is a little bit stretch in my imagination. Now, again, I don't know what's been said, if it's true or not. I'm just saying that I think some of the stuff has been outrageous. These guys thinking that they're the arbiters of truth and can actually, I'm going to just show you part of this so you can see what I'm talking about. Listen to these guys. Honestly, I wish somebody would go through and count the amount of questions asked. They probably gave him, I don't know, 200 questions, maybe 100, just rapid fire. I mean, give me a break.
So we've got more questions for you. RJ Shine has a suggestion to make the final experiment better as well. He says, take the flight to the South Pole location and film the compass staying locked.
She just goes one after another.
Contacted Andrew Marsh.
Someone contacted me today about 3 hours ago, and they said, hey, Will, you need to know something.
And he gets into asking about Bob Enyart. We're going to talk about that in a second.
The material reality that we've been taught by scientists that goes back to the ancient Greek philosophy of atomism is impossible.
So just to point out something real quick, because I don't think people recognize who Duffy is or what he says. I mean, listen to this interview and you'll find out things about what his feelings are on heliocentrism versus geocentrism. You'd be surprised. What his thoughts are on dinosaurs. You'd be surprised. What his thoughts are on the age of the earth. You'd be surprised. What his thoughts are on evolution. You'd be surprised. This is not your run-of-the-mill glober here. This is a preacher who has a lot of beliefs that are in line with us. Obviously, he thinks that the Earth's a globe or a sphere, and he wants to prove that it is or isn't by going on this experiment or doing this last experiment. Now, again, his money, his ideas, if he wants to call it the final experiment, that's fine. Is it final for me? I just got done telling you that if I went down and saw the sun go around my head, that I would come back and say, it seems like the ball Earth right now is winning in terms of which evidence matches reality. If the next day somebody shows me a model of flat Earth that calls for a sun to go around my head like that, I would immediately be a flat earther. Does that sound like final to you? So just because somebody calls something, that may be final for him, but it's not for me. Okay. And it wouldn't be for me. I would still go where the evidence is. So if I get back and say that, and nobody ever comes up with a way for the flat Earth to explain what I saw, clearly the flat Earth cannot be correct. It's that simple. It's not even difficult. And yet people are losing their minds when we haven't even seen that yet. You guys are all already assuming that we will see it, which is crazy to me. It's like, well, then what have you been doing for 9 years? Didn't you realize that would be a problem if we did? Obviously not. Anyway, he starts asking him questions about his dead friend and just gets really, I mean, things that ask him his net worth, just things that, why would you think that's okay to ask somebody? I don't know. Even in my interview, I thought I asked some questions that were a little borderline questionable, but I didn't ask him things like that. But these guys, they believe in a model that is the globe that they just say is a stereographic virtual reality. Again, believe what you want.
3 hours later.
If you are actually a truther, which I don't want to call myself that anymore, I said that on the last Jeranism show, because I don't agree with a lot of things they're saying anymore. We should be able to come to conclusions. Watching Austin Thompson do his sun observations for a whole month, seeing the sunspots move across the face of the sun, becomes pretty obvious that the sun has some sort of spots that move day to day as if it's going in a circle, as if it's orbiting, as if it's rotating. Doesn't mean anything by it. It just means that now you add that to your list and we get closer to the truth. But people will just deny it. People would rather hear Leslie say that there's stars behind the sunspots are actually stars, even though it doesn't jive with reality or what people are investigating. People would rather hear that because they just want to hear anything that's, I guess, I don't know why people are so into here. I just want to get closer to the truth. And I thought when I became a truther or when I started getting into this, that really everybody was the same, but I'm learning it's not the case. It's not the case. If they were, then they would just be like me and be like, yeah, if we see that, that's crazy. That'll make me rethink my position. And if we don't, it's confirmation of our position. Exactly right. If we go down there and they've got to do anything, cloud up the skies, they cloud up the sunrise, cloud up the sunset, they lock you in your tent, they do anything, and it's evidence of the flat earth. You understand? And if the sun goes around your head in circles, that's evidence for the globe, considering there is a model. It's not a false dichotomy. You name any model that shows the sun going around somebody's head in the south, and I'll say it's viable. Now, it just so happens there is one that we've been presented. Again, I've given my reasons why I don't believe in that model. I don't think the earth curves. I don't think people are upside down. I don't think that we spin and fly through space. Okay, that's my opinion based on the evidence that I've seen so far, but I've never seen a 24-hour sun go around my head for 3 days in Antarctica. If it did, my model, my understanding, my belief about the flat earth is wrong. It's that simple. Get over it. Be a big boy. Sometimes we get things wrong. The good thing about getting things wrong is we get closer to the truth. Now, I'm not even saying I'm wrong yet. You guys are. You guys are saying that you must think we're going to see a 24-hour sun, because it shouldn't be a bother me saying that. You should be like, Jeran's right. If there's something that falsifies our model is false. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. You're all coming up with anything you can possibly say, rather than to say, if our model is falsified, it means the model is false. It's baffling to me. You guys have completely lost track. You've completely gone off the rails. We're in a world now where people want to believe what they want to believe, and they don't care about evidence. Despite evidence, they'll just keep believing what they want. I thought it was the Globers who did that. Now I'm realizing I'm on the team that does that as well. Just as soon as we were challenged with something that an observation would show our current belief to be false, people have said, well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just, we got to rethink it. Okay, but do you understand that's what we get on Globers about dark matter, dark energy? That's what they're doing. Their evidence doesn't match. So they're supposed to take it away. They're supposed to get rid of the theory, throw it away and start, but they don't. They've just said, well, it doesn't match, but we'll just make it up. That's what you guys are saying. You're calling the sun, dark sun orbiting in the south. It doesn't match our evidence, but we're going to stick with it anyway. We're going to keep being on this as our belief, regardless of the evidence. Goes against our evidence. I mean, the evidence goes against our belief, but we just believe in dark energy, dark matter now. So you guys be on that team. You won't catch me there with you. That's for sure. I think it's disgusting, really, to be honest with you. I think that anybody who ignores evidence is contributing to the downfall of this society, period. I don't avoid evidence. I look for it. I seek it out. Just so happens I've never had this evidence before, and I don't trust Robert Schwartzman, who keeps putting out videos that have editing and have the words behind the mountains, knowing that they've been used for layering. Basically looped video that you're calling 24-hour sun, even though it starts where it stopped, things like that. So I know I piss you guys off. I don't know what to tell you. This is, as you've always known, every other YouTuber caters to their audience and does exactly what the audience wants so that they can gain more views. But look at my views. There's a reason why they're low. And it's because I refuse to do that. It's called honesty. You should try it. Do your own research. When you do, you'll never again believe all the bullshit you've been taught. Till next time. This has been Jeranism. Much love. Later, haters. Peace.